Boomer Sooner.
Ball's out, rolling around on the turf. Sooners recover. Looks right, wants to throw, does. It's intercepted. Intercepted. He's under pressure. He lobs in zone. Touchdown.
This is the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. Also brought to you by Dos Equis, official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. And by Walden Cleaners. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. This is the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner. Here are your hosts, Chris Plank and Gabe Eichert.
And we kick things off with Sooner running backs coach DeMarco Murray as Oklahoma gets set for Maine. Coach, thanks for taking your time. As we tape this on a Thursday, you've put Ole Miss to bed, but kind of take me through how you felt like your offense, your backs performed this weekend.
Early on, obviously, first half, they started off well. Again, it was good to establish a run game, guys playing fast. Physical, and again, you talk about the number one rushing defense in the country, and knew we had a challenge in our hands. So thought the guys came out with the right mindset, obviously with everything that had happened earlier that week. And again, they've always worked hard, always had a really good mindset. But again, our whole message this week and obviously throughout the course of the season, just have fun, be energetic, and then again, be detailed. But second half could do better, obviously, offensively, scoring points and, running the ball and making guys miss. So got to be better in that category. It starts with us as coaches as always, but we'll continue to find ways to be successful.
Looking at some of your individual guys, I thought it was Javonte's best game as a Sooner. I thought that the way that he played in the run game, the way he caught the ball on some of the check down things, just the urgency, the velocity he played with. It was one of my one of the silver linings of that game for me. What did you see from Javonte, and what type of growth have you seen from him this season? It seems like he's really, really getting comfortable and confident out there on the field.
Yeah, statistically he's had obviously better games, but that was my message to him and the whole staff, that was his best complete game as a Sooner, just from running, catching, obviously.
Blitz pickup too.
Blitz pickup.
I mean, he will
didn't
stick
have a lot
his
of
face in
opportunities,
there.
but again, just a guy that vocally and again, just from top to bottom as a coach, that's what you look for, leading the right way, and again, not caring about the score, not caring about the record, just going out there playing hard, having fun, and again, leaving it on the field. That's been my message since he's gotten here, and again, that's what he's become accustomed to. But again, just like you said, growing, tremendously, physically, emotionally, and again, just understanding the game. When you start to understand it more and the system, everything becomes second nature. You're allowed to go out there and just be who you are, which you can go out there and play a little football, man. Be you and go have some fun.
We had him on our pregame show a couple weeks ago. Rodney Anderson interviewed him. Great kid.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked to him in postgame too. But I think you kind of learn about Javonte Barnes and what he's about. Where Rodney's interviewing him, and Rodney's like, anything else you want Sooner Nation to know about you? And Javonte Barnes says, yeah, I want to ask you a question. What more do I need to know as a running back? And I just seem real self-aware of, hey, I got a lot to learn. And even though he's been here for a while under your coach, a guy that seems like he's thirsty for more knowledge.
Oh, he's always, thirsty. Again, Javonte's been one of the guys that I've always said that he just has an admiration to obviously play the game of football. But not only that, he loves Oklahoma. And again, for me, a guy who loves football and you love your university, that means a lot. Again, I think for him, coming from Vegas and, knowing his background and knowing who he is as a person, man, he's a selfless individual, works extremely hard. There's not one guy that every single day I'm having, hey, slow down, tell it back a little bit, walk through, anything. So he just has a natural appreciation for life and a natural appreciation for obviously the game and what God has blessed him to do.
How have you seen him grow as a leader? I think naturally just a quiet guy.
Yeah.
But just being down on the sidelines, he's saying more, he's more vocal, he's encouraging his teammates. Just what type of growth have you seen from him when it comes to his leadership for this football team?
Oh, tremendous. Again, just, being comfortable in his own skin. Again, realizing that, hey, if you're a vocal guy, be a vocal guy. If you're a guy that leads by example, do that because, as you guys know, no one will see right through you than your peers. So I think for him, just obviously, maturing, playing more, being healthy. I think that weighs a lot for a guy who wants to be vocal. But again, doesn't mean you have to be a rah-rah-rah guy. But every now and then, just speak a few words, but when you don't speak a lot, when you do speak, people tend to listen to you. So I think that's his mindset. Very quiet guy to himself a little bit, but just a hard-working person.
I feel like if there's something I've learned from you, Coach, is being the total package, right? Blitz pickup, receiving. What's made him such a good blocker as a running back?
Just his willingness to want to. I think mostly, you got to be able to want to pick up, blocks and things of that nature. Obviously, the technical side of things, and with Barnes, he's aggressive, he's physical, he's strong, he's powerful, all those things. But again, it's about locking in, being under control, and just using the right technique at times.
Right.
And I think for him, he's calmed down in that aspect of not being overly aggressive. Hey, let some things come to you, and then you're fast, strong, and explosive enough to get through that hole or make the proper contact. And once you get your hands on someone, he should be done.
There are very few things that get me going more than a running back that knows who he has in pass protection, and then a running back that stones that person. That's the good stuff right there. And you were the best blocking, pass protecting running back I ever played with, whether it was college or the NFL. Just how much of a point of emphasis is that in your room, knowing just how important that is when it comes to being a great back overall?
Yeah, it's everything. Again, that's what we start with. That's what we talk about consistently more than anything. I think for us, at any position, obviously on the field, you got to protect the quarterback, obviously up front and running back. So, we're asked to pass the ball quite a bit here in this offense. So we got to be able to protect. We got to understand what the offensive line is doing, who they're blocking, and most importantly, got to be a lot of nonverbal communication because bodies are going across the field, things are happening fast. So we don't have time to point at certain times. So you have to understand certain boxes and certain fronts. No matter what the center says, I know I have my guy. So I think for him, he's worked diligently at that of just, reading defense and obviously watching a ton of film and sometimes having me in there. But now as a veteran, he doesn't need me to be in there. He knows how to watch film, knows how to understand it, and get the keys that he needs to obviously see the third down pressures and normal downs as well.
We want to talk about your room, get more on Taylor Tatum when we come back in Maine. But before we break, you mentioned there was a change last week. How did you see Joe Jon Finley handle things? How did you see him just really step up in that moment this week?
Yeah, like I knew he would. Got total confidence in Joe. Obviously, I've known him forever, since obviously playing out there with him and seeing him set the edge and seeing him work his tail off in summer workouts and just being a dog, So, again, has it in him, quiet guy, but, again, fully confident in Joe and, again, extremely smart, and, again, knew he would bring the right energy, bring the right message, and, again, lead the guys the right way. So, just happy to be right next to him.
And it's just it's the business, but you got to go like a business as usual mindset, right? When something like that happens.
Yeah, it is. Again, I'm a little different, so I play the NFL, so I know nothing's personal.
Right,
I don't take it personal, and again, nobody.
Change happens.
It happens, unfortunately. So again, nobody understands it or respects it more than I do, and can't get your feelings hurt. We love Seth, obviously, great friend, my neighbor right across the street. I'll be seeing him here shortly, but. Again, as I told my guys, if I'm not in this seat, you guys better keep going, So just keep riding, keep grinding, and hey, let's go have fun and get a win.
That's good stuff. When we come back, we'll talk about the freshman Taylor Tatum. We'll talk about Maine and get you ready for Oklahoma's Saturday showdown with the Black Bears. Inside the Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind. Stick around.
Coach's Corner is brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. Orthodontics Exclusively is a proud sponsor of the Junior Captain of the Game. Junior Captain is the ultimate fan experience for children 6 to 12. Bob Moore Ford is proud to honor service members through the Patriot of the Game. Chick-fil-A. Download the Chick-fil-A app and order your favorites ahead of time.
Zach Alley's coming up next inside the Coach's Corner. We got one more segment with DeMarco Murray. We spent a lot of time on Javante Barnes, and he deserved it because he had a great game on Saturday. He's had a solid season. How about the freshman, Taylor Tatum? Battled through some injuries, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking at if I'm asking you. Looks like he's figuring things out.
Yeah, Ocho. He's doing a good job. Again, obviously a young guy that great personality. Just a really unique player that, you know, extremely talented as far as his athletic ability, catching the ball out of the backfield, running routes, things of that nature. But again, just a freshman that's obviously figuring things out, and again, getting coached hard and getting hit hard in practice quite a bit. So again, everybody's a little banged up right now, but again, he's a tough kid that, you know, he can handle a lot of things that most can't. But, you know, proud of where he's at and where he's going. But again, just a scratch of the surface for him, man. He's learning the right way, working his tail off, and, you know, couldn't be more proud of him.
You always talk about the importance of knowing your job out there on the field. And, you know, Taylor Tatum, he had some freshman moments early in the season, but it seems like there's been less and less and less of those these last couple weeks. Are you seeing the growth you want to see from him when it comes to the mental side of things?
Definitely. I mean, he's a very smart kid. So again, you don't have to spend a ton of time, you know, reloading plays and things of that nature. But you know, the MAs have gotten less and less and less. Obviously, again, the more reps you get, the more experience you get. Obviously, too. I think that's helped him quite a bit as well. But you know, he'll continue to learn, and again, he's not where he needs to be right now in his own mindset, because he puts a lot of pressure on himself, which, you know, that's what you like about him, and he's such a perfectionist, and he's extremely competitive. But again, he's learning the right way, knows the game, he understands it, and most importantly, he loves it.
How do you balance that? A guy that's critical of himself, but yet you also got to remind him, hey, well, this is a process. It's okay to be down on yourself. Let's not get too down.
Well, then you can't be critical of him as well. You know, there's certain times you got to coach him and be honest with him, obviously, but you just got to be more supportive of him. And he's a kid that, you know, takes things. Sometimes you don't have to say anything to him because he gets, you know, he shows that passion and things of that nature. But, you know, just want him to calm down at a certain time. Not that he's not calm, but again, just say, hey, just worry about the next play. Don't worry about it. You know, just try to have a short memory on things.
What's it been like? Gavin Sawchuk gets banged up. You've only been able to go with two guys. We've seen some of Sam Franklin, but it seems like a little limited from a numbers perspective in the room. How have you handled that as a coach?
Yeah, just trying to manage it as best you can. Obviously, you know, with Gavin being banged up, a guy that we love and, you know, got a tremendous amount of respect for, and again, guy that does the right way. And again, that he's not out there, one of our leaders. Again, just sucks for him, obviously sucks for us. And again, I know that he wants to be out there trying to do everything that he can, but got to be smart and think about the future. So, you know, Barnes has been getting majority of the work, and again, he's done a good job with that. Again, trying to find rhythm from him, but also, you know, not getting fresh for the fourth quarter and things of that nature. And still try to get these other guys some catches and things of that nature. But, you know, Barnes has done a really good job of just, you know, leading the way and, you know, leading it vocally and obviously, you know, by default.
Looking at one of your young guys, you walk out there and you know the Xavier Robinson pretty quickly.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him? You know, we haven't seen him really in games, but what have you seen from him in practice? Like, how's his growth going?
Oh, it's again, I've only been doing this for 5 years, but it's been the fastest growth I've seen from spring to now as far as a guy getting better. And again, he's worked extremely hard. He's in the building constantly. A guy that at least once or twice a day, there's some different person that's from a different kind of floor in our room that's bragging about Xavier and what he's been doing. But extremely, you know, proud of him and where he's at. And again, he's going to have chances. You know, he's going to have chances here very soon. But a guy that continues to work his tail off, great mindset. Again, another guy who's smart as a freshman. So proud to have him. And again, he's working his tail off, but he's gotten a lot better.
Well, he terrorized my Bishop McGuinness Fighting Irish there at Carl Albert, so I'm expecting him to be a player.
That's high school memories never fade. Blitz the back is one thing Gabe said that Maine will do. They'll try to figure out who's in the protection, and they'll try to really force them to do their job. What have you seen from the Black Bears in anticipation of Saturday?
Yeah, good team. You see a team that's aggressive, and, you know, they do play hard, they strain. Really good linebacker core. 11 is probably one of their best ones. But again, a team that obviously for us, you know, we don't take anyone lightly. We know we'll get their best match, and we're excited to play obviously in front of our fans. But very aggressive defense that, you know, they play hard, they play well together, and they understand the scheme. Veteran team that, you know, they'll blitz you and try to, you know, get matchups with the back. So we got to obviously be on our A game. And again, run the ball, protect the quarterback, and, obviously go score points.
You played a ton of games in college, ton of games in the NFL. You've heard all the criticism come from the outside throughout your playing career. How do you help these guys manage that, knowing that, hey, it's something that you've dealt with as a player as well?
Yeah, it's part of it, man. You wouldn't want it any other way. For me, you use some of the positive stuff when things are going well and it gets you going. Use the negative as well, use it as motivation or don't use it. Look at it or don't. You decide, So at the end of the day, you can't be sensitive to it. It is what it is, and you play a game that's very visible right now across the nation for a lot of people. And again, but you got to have thick skin, man, and be mentally tough. So things are going to happen. As long as you try your best and work your tail off, you should go to sleep every day just fine,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Coach, you're the best. Have fun this.
Appreciate
Ball security, baby. Rain
it.
on Saturday.
High and
Rain
tight.
on Saturday.
High and tight.
That's DeMarco Murray. Zach Alley is coming up next. We'll talk about the Sooners' defense against the main offense inside the Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind.
Spontaneous injuries early in this game. Handoff over the left side, smashed after a gain of just one. Danny Stutzman passes Teddy Lehman on the all-time tackles list as he folded Henry Parrish in half, a gain of 1 yard.
How about that? Love that kid. I'm happy for him, man. And he's going to keep going up that list, too.
Yeah, Ted wasn't lying. By the time the game was over, I think he had passed 3 more guys on the all-time tackles list. Welcome back inside the Coach's Corner. Gabe on Plank. That's Sooner co-defensive coordinator, linebackers coach Zach Alley. Clean shaven, and what a moment for Danny on Saturday, huh? Moving up that list.
No question. I mean, just what a great kid, amazing competitor, great linebacker. So happy for him, excited.
His season has been pretty incredible, too. I mean, obviously, the results in the win-loss column, not what he wanted, but to see the way that he stepped up from a leadership role and how he's really embraced you has been really something to behold.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously appreciate Danny being the new guy coming in, helping him and him being able to help me a little bit too. I think he's been really good. And so excited about just the career he's had and getting to finish it off the next couple of weeks.
Looking at the other guys in that inside linebacker room, clearly you've got Stutzman as the vocal leader and the veteran, but how do you feel the other guys have developed throughout this season?
Yeah, I've got a lot of confidence in our entire room. We play a lot of guys. I think every guy, that traveled for us at linebacker played in some capacity last week and has been like that for a couple weeks. And whether that's a major contribution on special teams and some on defense or a lot of defense and some special teams. But the young guys have really come along, and I'm excited for the future. I think we've got some really good players, and that competitive depth really helps you.
So then, not just the linebackers we want to focus on, but you're calling the defense this year, which is it's been awesome to see how the team has responded to you. I know that you've put Ole Miss in the rear view, but overall, how did you kind of gauge your defense's performance in that game? Some really good, and I'm sure there's some frustrating in there for you too.
Yeah, it was solid. We played well in the first half, except for one drive, and then wish we'd responded better coming out of the third quarter. We had a chance on a 3rd and 15, I think, on the first part of that drive, and just don't quite execute the stunt right in the right moment. And Jackson makes a great play, scrambling right and throws it over the head of the corner who's covering the tailback, and it's a little thing, and we don't finish right there, and could have changed the whole momentum of the game. But other than that, I was really proud of the physicality, the way they attacked the line of scrimmage, and how we stopped the run.
Looking at the Ole Miss game overall, it's really 5 or 6 plays where you guys give up some big chunk plays in the passing game. And I think a lot of people are wondering why. Okay, what's going on? What's happening? Where's the miscommunication? Where are the breakdowns on those plays? You mentioned the one, Jackson Dart just made a hell of a play, hell of a throw on one of them. But what's going wrong on some of those other plays where it does appear guys are running free in the back end? Yeah,
I think one of them we had a miscommunication by the corner. We changed the call, and he's looking right at me and just didn't get it. And so he plays cloud, should have been in a deep third, and so that gives up one big one in the third, and then, just on a double move later. Technique was just a little bit poor. Eyes were good, everything about it, and they kind of won the one-on-one down the sideline on that one. But just our guys and myself included, we got to be more consistent in just how we play what we do, and you have great effort, and there has to be effort with technique, and the technique part matters.
We were watching the play by Ethan Downs, who was a warrior on Saturday, battling, just a couple ailments, but still making big plays left and right. I figured that he plays a part in this and the interior too, but what has allowed Coach Alley, this team, to be so good against the run this year?
Yeah, I think we preach everything we do every day in practice about trying to be the most physical team, knock people backwards, and, stopping the run is being gap sound, and then also being able to, get off blocks and make plays. And I think our guys have invested in that mindset, and we're gonna load the box, and we're not gonna let you run the ball on us, because the easiest thing to do in football is hand it off and run up the A gap. So trying to prevent that as much as we can.
When it comes to stopping the run, clearly the guys along the defensive line has a massive, massive role in the success that you guys have had. What have you seen from Jaden Jackson? I mean, it's still so impressive to me that a true freshman is out there starting and playing at the level that he's playing at as a true freshman, but what type of growth have you seen from him throughout the season?
Yeah, I think he's really understands the physicality it requires to play in the SEC now. I think as a freshman, sometimes that's hard to understand and know. Coming right off the bus and getting out there. But man, I've just been proud of the development he has. He's such a hard worker, and he cares, and he's up there every night studying and getting extra film in with us, and it just shows up on game day, and just the consistency of his habits are really what's led to that kind of growth and the potential he'll have going forward.
It's fun to watch him. And I think in David Stone, you saw the club on his right hand and some of the highlights. We're seeing more of him. Probably the more ballyhooed recruit, right, coming in, but it seems as if it's been a process and he's getting better at every step for David Stone.
Absolutely. I think, barring that injury, he made a nice sack a couple games ago, and getting out there more, and just proud of him. He's going to be a really good player. I mean, he really is, and just excited for what he'll get the chance to become. And, his role has been a little less than Jaden's this year, but everybody's role is important, and we're excited for what he'll have in the future.
A guy who has had the biggest role he's ever had along the defensive line in his time here is Grayson Halton, and he continues to flash. Are you seeing the consistency that you want to see from Grayson? Because in the past, he's just been kind of a guy that flashes every now and then. It seems like he is really, really become a much more consistent down in and down out player.
Yeah, he's bought into what we're doing and what the process it takes to be great every week is, and I just think that he's going to continue to be at that level throughout the end of the year and moving forward. And just I think it finally clicked with him, you might say, this year. And, man, just keeping and maintaining the weight and being able to be physical and attack the run game and all those things. He's done a great job, and I think that's showing up every week now. And so the consistency is something we've talked about and we need from him.
Good personality guy, too, right? It's fun to have guys that can keep things light, but yet, when he's out there, it's like a switch flips for him, right?
Yeah. He's a great leader. That's something you may not see behind the scenes in the locker room, those type of things, man. He's a vocal leader. He's going to get those guys going. He's trying to be the face of the D-line, and he's done a great job of that. And that's something he's definitely grown into as the season's progressed.
We're going to talk about the inside backers when we come back. But last week, Xavier Brewer was on with us, and I know he's taken on the role of coaching the cheetah position this year for you. And we were talking about, Gabe brought up the point, there's so many diverse body types in that room right now. Seeing Deshaun McCullough back, though, that's been a big boom for this defense. How have you seen that room kind of mold and progress after losing Kendall Dolby?
Yeah, I think between Woody having to step in there and help us out as a coverage guy in the slot, and then getting Deshaun back just helps with the length and the size, his athleticism. I mean, he's unbelievable. When he gets out there, he had a great game, this past week, and he really played well. So just the ability to know the different skill sets you have and the ways you can use them is definitely useful.
How difficult is that for you as a defensive coordinator, knowing what guys you want on the field for what calls and what situations? Is it hard to keep track of all of that within the game when you're thinking through so many things?
Not terribly. I think that I'm very conscious of who's out there at that spot and what they do well, and trying to put guys in situations to make plays and do what they do, with their talents. A lot of times I always say, if a guy's not good in man, don't put him in man. If a guy's not good in zone, don't put him in zone. If he's a great blitzer, blitz him. If he's not good at it, don't blitz him. And I think that's kind of been my mindset throughout my career, and just translates straight to here as well, that find what our guys are good at and try and put them in positions to do that.
You get the sense that Sammy O's future is there? Could his future be in your room right now? Because he's fun to watch, too. He's a freak athlete.
Yeah, absolutely. Sammy's a great team player. He's done everything we've asked of him, and he had repped inside linebacker as well as outside linebacker, in the spring and in fall camp, and the necessity of that position has had him playing out there most of the year, but he'll definitely have an opportunity to move inside and still play that cheetah spot, too, moving forward.
Hey, real quick before we break, just a general question. Your defense has performed so well this season. Obviously, it's been a challenge on the other side of the ball. Control the controllables, right? How do you keep your guys not getting disappointed by what's happening on the other side of the ball? How do you keep everyone together?
Yeah, I talk about our standards, and we have an opportunity to be an elite defense in college football this year. We have all the tools, the things we need to be able to do that despite the competition, the schedule, those type of things. Those are all external factors. I always say, man, you roll a ball out on the field and you give us a blade of grass, we're going to defend it. And it doesn't matter the situation, doesn't matter the down and distance, doesn't matter the score. Our job is to stop them. And I try and create that mindset of just being relentless in everything we do every single day that leads to that on the field. And so it doesn't matter what's going on outside of our control. We're going to do whatever we can to stop you on this play.
Love it. That is Zach Alley. We got one more segment. We'll talk about that inside backer room and preview Maine when we come back. Inside the Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind.
We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality.
I had the fortunate to coach at one of the great schools in the country and contribute to its athletic career and its tradition, heritage, and all that. And I notice everybody's over here looking at Bob's picture. I got a damn statue over here, so you can check my statue out. Boz, he got the Boz on. Let's send this to the Boz.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Pretty cool. Getting a tour with the legend, the King Barry Switzer. We're hanging out with Zach Alley, fresh cup of community coffee. Taste the difference family makes. Coach, what do we know about the Maine? Gabe's getting his coffee on right now.
It really does make a difference.
It does, especially with the weather, like it's going to look like on Saturday. You guys prepare differently for that, or is it same on when the 100% chance of rain right now?
Yeah, we'll do some wet ball drills, things like that, where, soaking the ball, coach walking around, squirting the ball with the water, trying to make it harder on everybody to throw and catch a little bit that way. But for the most part, it doesn't change the game a whole lot unless it's a torrential downpour, and then they may try and run it a little bit more. But, we'll see how the weather holds up. Hopefully it clears up between now and then.
Please.
I've saved my most important question for right now. No mustache. Mustache is gone.
Yeah, it goes in waves and cycles for me. I like to grow it out sometimes.
You look great without
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah,
but
appreciate it.
I felt like I thought it was here to stay. I thought that was going to become the new thing, like you were going to be the mustache guy. Mm-hmm. And here we are, clean shaven.
Yeah, I told my fiance the other day, I was like, yeah, I think it's time. I'm ready to get rid of it. And so I shaved it off earlier today. And it's kind of weird. I hadn't seen my upper lip in, I don't know, it's been months. It's been since the summer, so it's been a while.
Maine, what do we know about the Black Bears coming in? Gabe had brought up they're going to use the play clock, and they're going to use the clock, and you're going to have to be patient. But what have you seen from their offensive attack?
Yeah, I think that's the first thing. They're going to go slow. They're going to huddle. They're going to try and shorten the game. I think they average snapping the ball with 5 seconds left in the play clock, similar to like an NFL-style offense that way. I think their quarterback is really impressive. You go watch him, and I think he hit a big one. He was at Mercer last year. He hit a big 60-yard touchdown run down the sideline on them to start the game. And you watch him, he's just poised. He's played a lot of ball, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And so I think last game maybe he was 17 for 19, something like that. And we've got to do a great job of putting pressure on him early and trying to affect the game that way because they've got some talented players.
Speaking of those talented players, when you turn them on, 81 stands out. Montego Moss, also just a great name.
Yeah.
Montego Moss. But when a team like Maine is coming in and they've got one player at the wide receiver position that kind of stands out, is that something where you go, hey, we got to eliminate this guy from the game. We can't let him make big plays against us.
Absolutely. I think he's got twice the amount of catches as the next closest guy.
It's not even close. It's like 24 more catches than the next
guy. So we're very conscious of where he is. They try and target him in special situations, things like that. And so, we've got a plan to do some things with that and excited to see if it executes well on Saturday.
And obviously there's been issues with injuries at corner that you've battled through. We've seen Eli Bowen step up. But Coach Alley, how are you excited to see the challenge to see a Jacoby Johnson maybe step up in this moment, see more from a Kenai Walker or a Des Malone?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that our guys in that room have worked hard and are developing. We've been a little bit banged up there just throughout the year, and so different guys have had to take on different roles and be ready to play. And so just have an opportunity this game to hopefully get guys as many reps as possible at those spots to continue to grow and develop. And I trust all those guys right now, and they're each individually good at what they do, but excited to see how they perform.
This is a tough question, and I know that we still have several games to play in this season, but is there any one guy that has really surprised you this season with their level of play? Maybe coming into the year, coming out of training camp, you thought, hey, he's going to be a contributor, but has really turned into a major factor for your defense?
Yeah, I think probably the guy that stands out to me the most is Caden Woolard. When he got here, he had to learn the system. The guy had been a starter for years and all-conference player in the MAC, defensive player of the year. And, in the spring, obviously, learning a new system after 4 years of the same took a little bit of time. And
like learning a new language.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, translating English to Spanish or vice versa. And so just seeing him develop and really, I think the last couple of weeks, man, we got a lot of faith in him. And he's really progressed and can do a whole lot for you.
Let's go through your room. We haven't really talked outside of Danny. Kip Lewis, Teddy always talks about the energy that he brings. How have you seen him progress and maintain throughout the season?
Yeah, Kip is the same guy every day, irregardless of what's going on. And that's what you love about him. Between being a little bit banged up or maybe he's a little bit tired here or there, when he gets on the field, he's always consistent. The way he attacks, the things he does, he makes plays he shouldn't make a lot of times, and he plays bigger than he is, and just a premier type of competitor. That every day he's got joy in the process of how he does everything, and that's how I describe Kip, man, just joyous in all of the things he does.
So you mentioned he makes some plays that he probably shouldn't make, and how do you handle that as a coach? Because it's clear Kip has tremendous football instincts, but you've got this framework as a defense, like everything fits, and then you've got a guy that can naturally feel like, no, I'm kind of going to abandon that and I'm going to go make this play. What's that balance like for you as the backers coach?
Yeah, I think you try and teach guys when they can take risks and when they can't. When is there secondary support coming behind you that can make you right, and when is there not? And we try and do a great job of making plays within the scheme. And Kip is very instinctual that way. He can dip a block, he can make a move. As I would say, he wins in the gray. When it's not perfectly black and white and it's supposed to be here or there, he's the guy that's going to come out and, man, some way, somehow, he's going to find a way to make that tackle.
Kobe McKenzie looked like the bionic man with the elbow braces last week. But what have you seen from the Thumper and the job he's done?
The Thumper.
Well, that's what Taddy says.
Nice.
No doubt. He's got bricks in his helmet, and he'll smoke you. Just obviously. I laughed. I said, man, I thought we were going to have one guy with an elbow brace on the field, but now we got two. So
it's a trend with us too.
So football's you got to use your hands all the time. So them elbows, striking and moving people. But man, he'll knock you backwards, and man, he's got some instincts as well. He's a really great communicator, a great leader. In the same kind of capacity that Danny is, and I have complete faith in him just through his playing and the way he executes to just go out there and perform.
Seems like he's really improved too. And there was, before you got here, Coach Alley, there was talk that, maybe his future might be as an edge guy, but it just seems as if he's really embraced being in that backers room.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's got great instincts. I think that, the certain guys develop faster than others.
Right.
And he just really came into his own throughout spring and fall, and it's showing up now, on Saturdays.
You're already playing quite a few young guys that are in the rotation, but you look at the opportunity that you could have this Saturday of getting some more young guys on the field, especially late in the game. Is that something you guys have been talking to those guys about? Like, hey, you may have an opportunity, get ready. Like, how do you deliver that message to some guys that maybe haven't played a ton of snaps up to this point?
Yeah, I think we try and get the guys to understand every week. You never know when you're going to be the guy that's called up and ready to go. So, from a just travel squad standpoint, we're always consistently repping the guys that are in the room and making sure they're prepared. And then, I've had our GA meet with some of the guys who are the scout team guys so that they at least know some of the base calls if I got to throw them out there, because it's been, I don't know how long camp feels like forever ago. I'm sure it does to them too, since they've actually gone out there and taken a rep in the defense, and as far as what we call our terminology and all that. But I expect that our guys will be fired up and ready to go.
Let me ask about two more guys. We'll get you out of here. First, Jaren Kanak. Saw a lot of him against South Carolina. How have you seen him progress throughout this season?
Yeah, Jaren's done well. He's just filled a lot of roles, like kind of whatever you need him to do, he can do. And I appreciate that about him, man. And nobody cares more or works harder than him. And, just think he just continues to grow and continues to develop. And man, we've got to find ways to get him on the field and give him opportunities too.
And Lewis Carter, boy, special teams guy. He's all over the place, but had a big hit against Tennessee. Young guy. How's his future looking, and how have you seen him progress?
He's going to be amazing. I think he's got true NFL level talent. Just speed, size. He's the type of guy that he just doesn't miss. He goes full speed to contact, and it just goes right through people. And you love that part about him, and just excited that, his role will continue to grow and grow and grow throughout the end of the year. And, going into next season, man, he's going to be a major contributor on special teams and on defense. And that's something we need for sure, because, man, we're going to have a big void to fill, obviously, with Danny leaving.
Yeah.
And I think we got the guys that are ready to step up and take that.
Good luck on Saturday. Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
That's Zach Alley. We'll wrap the Coach's Corner next, presented by Riverwind.
OU's 2024 football games are available on Exodus 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on those stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. New episodes drop every day. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. Presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino. Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola.
Squirrel on the run. Now he's tackled. Well, he falls down at the 17, and I don't know. Maybe he's faking an injury here. Squirrel down at the 17.
I've never seen a squirrel do that.
Now he's up again. 15. He was playing dead. He's to the 10. He's to the 5. One man to beat, and he's into the end zone.
They're just directing him to the tunnel like this is an everyday thing.
One of the wildest moments from the Grove this past weekend. I've never seen a squirrel go down on all fours like that before.
We have squirrels in our backyard.
Right.
I've named a couple of them. I can tell them apart now by the differences in their tail, and that's the stance they get in when I walk out and go, "Hey!" when they're like messing with our plants and stuff.
Right. Okay, I can get that.
But that was a much needed moment of humor.
Right.
When you think about how that game ended up finishing out for the Sooners. That was classic. Toby
Good
Rowland,
stuff.
there's no one better.
He was ready to go. He was ready for the moment. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards. Shout outs to our buddy Justin Yahola and the crew. They bring you our final segment. And I told you before we started, as little probably as I've known about an opponent, because we just don't get a lot of Maine Black Bear information. But I know, Gabe, you grind, you find tape somehow, some way, just like our Sooner Vision crew. So Bob Moore Ford, proud to honor service members through the Patriot of the Game. They bring us our scouting report on Maine. What you got?
Well, defensively, they do a lot of the things that OU has seen this season. I mean, you look at what they do, they're a 4-2-5 defense. They're going to be an even front, meaning 2 defensive linemen on each side of the center. They have the ability to stem to what I call 4-down odd spacing, where you got a guy over the center, you got a guy over both tackles, and then kind of a stand-up outside linebacker type player. And that's what a lot of teams have done to the Sooners this season. It's very common in college football now. And they do a lot of similar things in third and long, second and long, third and long situations that OU has seen. They'll get in a bear front, they'll twist out of it, they'll get in 4-down, they'll twist out of it. So this is not a lot of things that OU's offense hasn't seen this season. And in fact, it's things that they're going to see the rest of the season from some of the defenses that they'll see to finish out. Now, much more talented players on those defenses to finish out the schedule. But one thing that Maine's defense does a really nice job of is understanding where pass protection is going. And they play the percentages in those situations, and they like to blitz, what I call blitz the back, meaning they know who the running back is responsible for in pass protection, and they bring that guy to see if the running back can hold up. So you're going to see that, and I have all the faith in the world in Javonte Barnes in those situations, but you look at Taylor Tatum, maybe some of the other young running backs that could get in the game on Saturday. That'll be – I am interested to see how they hold up in those situations, but that's kind of their go-to pressure. They'll just bring simple edge pressure, whether it's a will linebacker, their nickel position, or even they'll blitz the corner quite a bit.
Well, that's a look at the opponent and what
Was
you'll
that
see
too much? It
defensively.
felt like too much.
No, I've blitz the back is something you're going to hear a lot on the broadcast
Offensively,
Saturday.
they're going to take their time.
So they're going to eat that, milk that play
That's
clock,
what
right?
they do. It's not only something they do or rolling out for OU because of the talent mismatch. That's what they do. They get in a huddle. They change personnel groupings. They snap the ball with less than 10 seconds on the play clock pretty much every snap. So it could be a short game.
Yeah, which, again, based on what the weather's looking like, might not be a bad thing. And then before we wrap, Gabe, it's time for Eichard's Intel, which is brought to you by Orthodontics exclusively. Brace yourself for the ultimate orthodontic experience. We've heard it a lot. Focus on Oklahoma this week. Brent Venables talks about it incessantly. What's kind of your keys to a Sooner victory, or at least what do you need to see this weekend?
Just play clean. You're talking from an operations standpoint. One thing I want to see is just technique. Along the offensive line, route running at the wide receiver position, finishing runs at the running back position, Jackson Arnold going through his reads, being clean with the football, and that all applies to defensively as well. Giving up too many explosive plays in the back end of the defense, you don't want to see those miscommunications that have led to those explosive plays over the last couple of weeks. So it's all about playing clean, getting out healthy, clearly, but just being as efficient and as clean as possible on both sides of the ball. And always want to be clean in special teams as well.
Keep an eye on the sky. Weather looks a little bit dicey on Saturday, but
It'll
we'll be there.
fine.
We'll be there for you. 10:30 a.m. pregame show on the Sooner Radio Network. For Gabe Eichard, I'm Chris Plank. Thanks for joining us inside the Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind. Until next time, Boomer Sooner, everybody.
This has been the Riverwind Casino Coach's Corner, presented by Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.